We are feeling positive about this
Okay,
puppy.
everybody settle. Quiet, please.
Feels like Nixon Frost. Welcome to Moviefone's Unscripted. I'm Owen Wilson. I'm here with Jennifer Aniston to talk about our movie Marley Me. We're going to ask each other some of your questions as well as some of our own. I'm going to start with the first question.
Okay.
There's a cute story behind Marley's name. How did you choose the name Norman for your dog? Which is a great name.
Norman, well...
And it fits him so well. It's perfect.
Norman looks like a Norman.
Yeah.
Norman, originally when I got him, he was an actor dog. And so he was pretty much in his young life. I got him almost a year old, and so he had pretty much bad behaviored himself out of the business and was basically put up for adoption.
I can't imagine that because he's so mellow. Maybe they just couldn't get him to do...
They couldn't get him to do a trick. They couldn't get him to hit a mark.
I respect that sometimes in a dog. Like, they're being above it. Like, yeah, I can do the sit and stuff, but why?
Why? For a liver snap?
Yeah,
really?
Okay. Ooh, let me... yeah, the monkey and the organ grinder.
But when I got Norman, Norman's name was Corbin.
Corbin?
And
So you had to do a similar type name
I wanted
to
it
get
to
the
sound
sound.
like Corbin, something like
but
Corbin.
Make it your own.
Yeah, so he wasn't too thrown. I was afraid. I didn't want him to be like, what? Who?
Yeah.
So, that's how Norman came about.
But you didn't, was it that you wanted to give him your own name or you didn't like Corbin?
I didn't like the name Corbin for a dog. I also happened to be living next door to Corbin Burnson at the time.
Bull, you're making that up.
I'm not.
Really?
I knew Corbin.
You didn't want him to be offended, or that could lead to something like Corbin.
And then Corbin runs out. It would have been horrible.
My gosh. Okay.
Let me think. What did you do first? Write a script or did you act? Which came first?
The first thing I did was write. Yeah, I was an English major in school, and then my friend Wes Anderson wanted to direct, and I had written some short stories, and he was like, well, let's write a screenplay. And so we wrote a screenplay together, and then he wanted Luke and I to play the two main guys. Yeah, so that's what came first.
The writing.
That's a good question. Okay, besides Marley, who is your... I know this one, I feel like. Besides Marley, who is your favorite movie dog?
Benji.
Okay.
Who?
Cujo is who you've been... Okay.
Shh, I told you that in privacy.
Yes, Benji. You love that one.
I love Benji. Despite all of his misbehaving, Marley taught the Grogans some valuable life lessons. What has your dog taught you? Sweet Garcia.
I don't know if it's like stuff like lessons that like Garcia's teaching me, like the way like you'd get a lesson at the end of Fat Albert. It's more like kind of just like the way you that I feel like with, doing stuff with Garcia, where I feel like a little bit more kind of peace of mind. You can feel more in the moment. And maybe sometimes, I guess, like patience when he was like a little bit kind of rambunctious early on. And then what we've talked about a lot with this movie, that idea of this sort of unconditional sort of loyalty and love. And I think that's why people sort of, connect so strongly with their animals, with their pets and things.
Yeah.
How do you go about sort of like preparing for a role, or is it just something you feel like you just read the script and like you just show up and like...
Well, that usually depends on the movie, but usually I have a great gal that I work with named Lee, and we usually do like a couple weeks beforehand, we sort of go through the scenes and break down, do a little character breakdown, and then I kind of try to throw it all away and then just sort of see, just gives me just a little bit of an awareness of what I'm walking into. But David, on this, David Frankel, the director, asked me to not do any of that for this. He really wanted me to be, as the Marley dogs were, untrained.
But with Lee, that's the name of the person that
Yes.
you work with sometimes. But when you guys are going over, are you coming up also sometimes
Yeah,
with
we're
new
coming up
lines
with-
that you then you
Sure.
make a note?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a big.
I like to
I
do
like
that
to
too.
do that. I just try to figure out. It's more fun,
It's more fun. It's like no matter how funny something is in the script, it's like sort of by the time you've read it like 50 times and the crew sort of sees like the sides, they know it.
Yeah.
It just kind of gives like a better energy, or kind of sometimes gives a little bounce when you come up with something new.
Something new.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you sort of. I love that.
And it's like a good feeling.
Yeah.
If you could guest star on another TV show, what would it be? You were just in Third Rock.
I was 30.
What?
30 Rock.
30
Well,
Rock,
it grew
I
up.
mean.
It started as 3 Rock,
Okay.
and then it
yeah,
grew
30
up.
Rock.
Yes. I like Mad Men.
I haven't seen that, but that got really, it got good
Really good
reviews.
show.
It is?
Yeah.
The whole look of it's like,
Yeah, it's just great.
it's like, yeah.
All
What's
of
the
them.
era? It's like 19...
It's the 50s, I
The
think.
50s.
Is it the 50s? Yep.
My great uncle was in advertising
He was?
and was like a real, like, he was like on the cover of Time magazine.
Are you kidding?
Like advertising used to be like a
What's
really
his name?
cool, like,
It's
Cunningham is
isn't
my
it
mother's
still?
maiden name. Yeah.
Shoot. I don't know. Can I Google that?
I don't know. I guess so.
I might Google that.
You're going to call my bluff on this.
What is your favorite memory that involves a pet?
We had a great Labrador growing up named Blue, and he was like, one time Luke and I went down to the creek. It had been like, there was like a thunder, like rainstorm, and the creek would flood, and would go down there, kind of look to see how high it was getting and how fast the water was rushing. And I was like to Luke, we'll just step in like right there, like I think it's like okay. And like he took one step and just swoosh, he was like off. And Blue jumped right in after him, and he was wearing like a hooded sweatshirt. And Blue like swam right after him and like grabbed him by like the hood.
Oh my
And
God,
it's like
this should be a
just
movie.
like, I know, we just had the best dogs growing up, and so I had like, that was like a good memory.
That's a great memory.
Thank you, Jen.
Well, thank you, Owen. And thanks to Moviefone and for watching and sending in all of your great questions. And please watch our movie, Marley and Me.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers, honey.
It's like,
Here's a Moviefone plug.
yes.
Like we need it.